how to be perfect. I know you're probably thinking, okay, I know I'm trying to get this thing straight. I'm using a different thing today because my computer is, I don't know what's going on with the internet. It's like whenever there's a message or there's something that I want to talk about, it seems like adversary comes in and always tries to like do something with the thing, like try to mess up the program. So, anyways, let's go ahead and get started. So, hi, for those of you that don't know, I'm Trinesha. I'm an author of Learn from My Missteps, a business owner of First Love Yourself. I am an entrepreneur and I am a life coach and a mother. And so today's topic is going to be about being perfect. And it's so funny because earlier today, I was spending some time with God, and God was just placing on my heart just these different messages and different scripture about how God is the only one that's perfect. Different things about how, perfection is one of those things that we strive for, but it's nothing that we reach. And I heard a sermon this morning that talked about how some people can try to be perfect. People will try to do things, and sorry about the video quality. I was gonna switch it around and do a whole thing, but it's like every device was giving me issues today. But if you're here, if you watch this video, I really appreciate it. I really do appreciate you being a part of this, being able to like serve you and to be intentional and to share all of the knowledge and insights that I learned throughout my life so that I can help other people. That's what my main goal is, to make sure that you get something from this, that I'm pouring into you, that I'm speaking life into you, that I'm helping you in some sort of way. And so so when I think about being perfect, for me, because I'm single, and I feel like I could say this because being transparent is one of those things that really does help other people. If I was to sit here and pretend like I'm just perfect, I don't have any issues at all, and everything just always works out, then you'd be like, okay, yeah, whatever. You wouldn't really hear what it is that I'm trying to say. It wouldn't resonate with you if I was sitting there trying to pretend as if everything was perfect, because nothing is perfect. Like, no one is perfect but God. And so as I'm in this single season, it's funny because God will tell me, the Holy Spirit, whatever it is that you call God, right? Or when you hear a message from God, and he'll say things like, okay, you know, you could date this person, you could talk to this person, you can get to know this person. And when God says a no, I know it's got to be something really, really extremely off that is making God be like, okay, well, this person isn't the one, or this person isn't someone who would add or would teach me something about myself. And usually when God says, like, I could date someone, not that they're the person, but that I could date them or whatever else, it's usually something that I learn about myself along the way. Like, I learned how to be more understanding. I might learn how to be different in one area or another, or instead of having a wall up, how to let the right people in. And so every single person that I've met has taught me something about myself. God has used them to teach me how to be a better person for my kingdom spouse, to be a better person for the people around me. And it's such a blessing to be able to learn in that way, for God to be so strategic with the way that He teaches us how to be who it is that He created us to be. And so as I'm going through life, as I'm meeting people, whatever else, sometimes I could feel like, but God, I'm not perfect in this area yet. I don't know if I should date. I don't know if I should get to know this person. I don't know, and I'll make all of these excuses for reasons why I shouldn't talk to whoever it is. And God will, He will check me real quick and be like, listen, do you want to be obedient or do you want to do your own thing? Because you're going to have to pick one or the other. You can't do both of them. And I see a lot of women, and I definitely, like, my hats off to those women who are single, that are really ready to get to know someone, who are willing to be a little vulnerable enough for a person to get to know who they are. The women that are out there that are like, yes, I can't wait to find my husband, or they're excited and they're intentional. They really, really want it, and I want it. I just am so afraid, and I know people are going to judge me. People probably will call me names. They'll probably say a whole bunch of things about how, oh, well, if you're Christian, how can you be afraid? It's in God's hands. And I understand that. And I do trust God. but I don't trust myself sometimes because I made so many mistakes in the past because I've done so many things wrong. And so now when it comes to men, I feel like I don't know if I'm going to make the right choice or not. I don't know if I can do the things that God is saying that I can do. Like he's saying that I'm going to be fine, and I don't know if I trust myself enough to make the best decision when it comes to men. Like I don't know if like I know I'm not going to be perfect, and I'm like, can I handle not being perfect when I'm talking to these guys? If I make a mistake, am I going to be harping on this for the next 2 weeks, a month, a year? Or is this something that I can actually let go of so that I can grow, so that I can be what God created me to be? Learning every single lesson along the way, and pun intended, single in the single season, single lesson. But yeah, and so as I'm out here in these dating streets, that's rough. Just kidding. No, in all honesty, and I know I joke and I say things about how you know, it's ratchet, or I'll say a whole bunch of things about, dating in this season or in this era and everything else. But honestly, God has really allowed me to meet some really great men. They're not a good, but they have all taught me something. Like I met one guy who really does have like this his standards, his boundaries, his self-worth. Like he knows what he's worth, what his worth is. He's not settling for anything less than God's best for him, and I really think that's a quality that we should all have. Another guy, super honest, just transparent and honest in the way that I hope that I could be with everyone that matters to me. So that, with my daughter, I'm transparent, so I'm teaching her something. With my friends, I'm open and honest, so that it's not something that I have to speak about anywhere else but with that person. In a relationship, the same thing, romantic or otherwise, that I could really be clear about letting my yes be yes and my no be no, letting me mean what I say, and say what I mean, you know, and even kindness. Like even in the roughest situations, I said one thing when I was not ready to date at all. And everyone around me was saying, you need to be, it's been this long. You need to go on a date. You need to meet people. You need to do this. You need to do that. And so I just felt like I wasn't ready, but I also was like, well, maybe I might be ready. And I just feel like I'm not ready. I was not ready, but that's besides the point. And so I met this guy, and I said something wrong. I said all the wrong things wrong, all the things wrong with this one guy. And it was just so funny. Like if it was it would have been one of those shows that were like funny where they put the applause up or the laughter and everybody laughs at certain parts, because it was a hot mess. Like it was tragic. But it was so funny. And I literally said everything wrong, every single thing wrong. Like, I guess that's how you can tell it wasn't going to be a good fit from the beginning. But literally, every word, every sentence, I would say things and mean something totally different, but it would come out all the wrong ways. It was just a hot mess. It was real bad. And so like things like that really taught me different things. And like even his character throughout, even though I was saying the wrong things, even though I wasn't being at my best, he literally still was kind. He was still a kind-hearted person. He was still nice. He could have literally got smart. He could have said something rude. He could have been like, well, oh, forget you anyways, or anything. But he literally carried himself with such dignity and honor. It really made me feel like, wow, that's a quality that I want to possess in myself. Like, and I know some women will take different things from all these different men and say, yeah, I want a man who does all of these things. No, and this might sound a little weird, but I take it as if there's a great quality that I find in a guy that I meet, I want to have that attribute. I want that to be part of my character. I want to be able to be kind no matter what someone else says to me, to still be true to who I truly am, to still honor and respect myself, regardless of what anyone else's mind, whatever anyone else is doing, their reaction, their heart posture, whatever it is that they say to me. I don't want that to determine the person that I am. I want to be everything that God created me to be, nothing more, nothing less. When it comes to being transparent. Like the one guy was super truthful. I want to be honest like that and let my yes be yes and my no be no when I'm romantically in a or in a friendship, whatever type of ship I'm in. I want to make sure that I am completely standing on what it is that I truly believe in. I don't want to waver for anybody else. I don't want to, beat around the bush when I know I feel a certain type of way. I want to be real about how I feel about things. When it comes to the guy that was consistent, I want to be consistent in every area of my life. I want to be consistent when it comes to growing my business. I want to be consistent when it comes to saying that I'm going to do something and actually doing it. I want to be consistent when it comes to if I say to someone that, oh yeah, I'll talk to you tomorrow. I'm not just going to ignore them and then let a whole week go by and never call them. Like I'm going to be intentional with my life like the other guy was. Like every one of these attributes, every one of these things that I pulled from other people. And then even the one guy who said, he said, you have to let some people in. I didn't even know I was being guarded. And it taught me that, yes, I need to check with God first and use the power of discernment and figure out if this person should actually be a part of my life. And if God is telling me, yes, he's there with me, he's not never going to leave me nor forsake me. People are going to be who they are, but it's up to me to give them an opportunity to show me who they are, not for me to just push people away just because I want to. If I want to really be serious about this relationship thing, I have to really be intentional about life. And my battery is about to die. Oh my goodness. I'm having like a whole bunch of technical things happening back, the back, the back, the back. We're gonna work through it. But I'm going to try to make this short and rush off. I really don't like doing this, but I'm not going to have no choice because I don't want to be talking and then it just cut off in the middle of the video. And so I think it's really important for us to understand that although we're not perfect, we should strive for perfection. We should strive to be the best version of ourselves. We should be willing to work on every area that it is that we want in someone else. For me, in my single season, if I know that I liked an attribute of one of these guys or there's a thing that I can pull from every person in my life, I want to implement that in my life. I want to be the type of person who's reliable. I want to be intentional. I want to be consistent. I want to be truthful and let my yes be yes and my no be no. I want to be the type of woman who has integrity and honor and respect for herself like the other guy did. I want to know what my worth is so that I don't settle for anything less than God's best for me. I don't want to, and these are all good qualities that these men possess, but I also want to be the type of person that possesses those. I don't want to be the type of woman that says I want somebody that works out every day and I don't work out at all. I want to be realistic about the things that I'm asking God for or the things that God is going to give me in my life because he knows what I need. Here are my two lists of things that I want in a man. And I know people are going to think it's going to be a whole thing, but it's not. My list consists of me being attracted to the person because I could sit here and lie and try to pretend like me being attracted to the person doesn't matter, but I really, really do want to be attracted to the man that God has for me. And the second thing is whatever God intends for me to have in my life, whatever characteristic, whatever, I know his core values will be good because it will be of God. I want whatever it is that God has for me. That's it. I want to be attracted to him and I want that's it. Nothing more, nothing less. I don't want him to be perfect because I'm not perfect. I don't want to sit there and be with some guy who does everything right and I'm a hot mess or, I make mistakes and stuff like that. I just feel like that's unrealistic. Nobody can be perfect but God. I don't want to put that type of unrealistic standard on a human being. I want to accept them for who they are and not make them be somebody else, you know? So in the comment section, I want you to put perfection, not because you're striving to be perfect, but because you know that you being the best version of yourself is perfect, perfectly imperfect. I want you to understand that although if you're in your single season like me and you're waiting, God's timing is perfect. Don't ever feel like you have to rush God, because there's some things that you could be working on, or that could be getting out of you or out of the person, so that He can prepare them for you. I don't want to ever rush God's process. And I would be lying if I said that I'm just perfectly fine all the time and I never have a moment where I want to be with someone. I do aspire to be in a relationship one day. I really do. Although it's scary, I do want to be with someone. Although not someone, or just anyone, the someone who God has grace for me. I do sometimes desire companionship, and I do miss the idea, or miss, I don't know if I could say miss because I've never had that, but you know, I do think about how it would be nice to go to things with a person every once in a while. Sometimes I will think about, oh yeah, it would be cool to be able to do this with this person, or something else like that companionship. I do desire to have that in my life. Am I rushing it? No. I don't ever want to rush God. I don't ever want to try to get something that God is saying I'm not ready for yet. I don't want to I don't want to be somewhere prematurely, because a pastor said something once that really, it helps me in my single season. He said that if you get a blessing prematurely, it's no longer considered a blessing. I like to say it's a curse or a nightmare, and that's the adversary, because he would want you to have something prematurely, because it will be a disaster. It's not going to be a blessing. So that's why I'm okay with waiting. I'm okay with waiting because I know in that waiting season, God is prepping and pruning me. He's molding me like a potter with clay. I know that during this season, He's getting that man ready so that he can have all of the great qualities that I have to possess to be able to give. Good night.